Good evening. Welcome to a brand new year of Vibrant Hong Kong. I'm Rico.
And I'm Erica. Happy New Year, everyone. So Rico, did you set any specific goals for 2025?
Well, there are many things that I'd like to achieve, but there's one goal that I hope everybody can work towards along with me, and that's to be more eco-conscious when we consume. Speaking of embracing a greener lifestyle, the second phase of the citywide ban on single-use plastics, which will extend to include plastic cups, takeout containers, as well as plastic dental floss and tablecloths, is tentatively set to begin this year.
Apart from reducing waste at source, recycling is just as important. These days, many more materials can be recycled other than paper, metal, and plastic bottles. Can you guess what some of them are?
I know that there's now facilities that can process food waste and glass bottles. What else is there?
Rechargeable batteries, small electrical appliances, and paper drink cartons can all be added to the list too. The Environmental Protection Department also just launched this year's Natural Christmas Trees recycling program today. So be sure to find your nearest collection point to dispose of your natural Christmas tree. Meanwhile, a local company has recently started using recycled tires to make the community more hygienic in an environmentally friendly way.
In today's fast-paced society, goods are consumed at an alarmingly rapid rate. Have you ever stopped to think about how much of what we use can be repurposed? These tiny black pellets are actually cut from recycled tires. Can you guess what function they serve when essential oils are added to them?
你話香港邊度冇攞試啊？次次都有啊！而家見到一隻半隻嘅，唔係好多。如果成群結大就嚇死人啦！係第日名都係怕嘅，呢啲冇辦法嘅。
These natural pest control pellets, which can effectively prevent insect and mice infestations, are currently being used at this construction site near a public housing estate in Kowloon. The team behind the product says they've been yielding satisfactory results.
The pellets itself is actually recycled tires infused with essential oils, which serve as a rodent repellent. So we target areas like the sewage systems, and we just place these pellets underground or along the fences, and we try to deter the rodents into the killing zones. And in the killing zones, there's rodenticides, mouse traps. Yeah, so that's how we reduce the population.
This creative, as well as environmentally and human-friendly innovation, recently won the Platinum Award at the HKUST Sino $1 Million Entrepreneurship Competition, besting other tech solutions from around the world. The team has reached an agreement with an American hardware chain and is set to mass-produce the product for international retail.
Recycling common materials and processing them into products that can be used by households or the community is indeed a clever idea. It's no wonder that this innovation was able to win a prestigious award as well as break into the international market.
Tonight, we have invited Rick Lui, founder of a biotech and pest control company, and Audrey Wong, their research officer, to share more insights with us. So welcome to Vibrant Hong Kong.
Thank you.
Hello. Now, Rick, firstly, I would like to know, because we just saw how your company's product has been applied at a construction site near a public housing estate. Could you begin by telling us how this idea came about?
Yeah, sure. This idea actually came from 2021 when I was working with a pest control company as an intern in my gap year. So I realized that the pest control industry is quite old-fashioned. They use lots of glue trap and cages and poisons and not really humane and not really sustainable. For example, at one night, I saw them using more than 300 glue trap in one of the public estates in Hong Kong, and they could only capture like 3 rodents. So the efficiency is super low. So I tried to introduce something more innovative and more cost-effective. And that's how I developed the first in the world pest repellent made of recycled rubber. And it can actually repel the rats to somewhere we want them to go. Yeah.
I mean, firstly, I think it's very impressive how, you're taking your study and what you experience at internship to apply and create more ideas to improve something and develop something as well. And I know that you started this business literally like right away after your graduation. So that's also a very
tough.
Yeah, very tough, but also a very brave step as well.
And challenging as well. So, Audrey, how did you and your team develop these pest and mice control pellets, and how do they work, and how did you figure out which odor to use?
So as Rick has mentioned, we went through rounds of testing to find that actually rubber was the best carrier for the essential oils that we use as the repellents against the mice. So before we apply the pellets, we set up infrared cameras in the area of infestation so that we can figure out how the mice move around. And then based on the data we collected, we set up 2 zones, the repelling zone and the killing zone. And so in the repelling zone, there will be the essential oils that give off this scent and the odor that repels the mice. And then they'll be sort of guided into the killing zone where they'll be rounded up together so that there will be like a higher killing rate, which is a better success rate for us. And on the odor, we actually tested different combinations of essential oils and nanoparticles so that this formula that we are currently using now gives the best effect because the mice has the greatest response to it.
It sounds like there are a lot of observations and data collecting going on. So just to follow up, Audrey, how many rounds of testing did you and your team conduct before rolling out the product? And did you have to familiarize yourselves with mice behavior?
Well, yeah, definitely. We conducted, many rounds of in-house testing within the 6-month period. And during the testing, we had used a behavior coding program called Boris that actually helps us to monitor their behavior and let us see how they react to it. And also we did some literature research on how the mice behave and see what people had already figured out about the behavior that could also help us.
Wow, It's fascinating to see how mice behave because normally you wouldn't see a mice, right in front of you, correct?
For sure. So, I mean, I see that tires is one of the elements that you guys work with a lot. So I understand that you're currently using recycled tires from the mainland. So what's the cost difference compared to using locally recycled tires?
I think the cost difference is quite huge. For example, if I hired someone, like a worker in mainland, it cost me about like 3,000 RMB, and the same applied to the rent. And that's why we have to leverage the Greater Bay Area, this policy. So, and the R&D center is located in Hong Kong, but we have the production site in mainland.
So, Rick, why is it more expensive to recycle tires in Hong Kong?
The highest cost in Hong Kong is about the operation cost and the logistics cost. So this is the reasons why we stop here. So that's why we choose to have our production site in China.
Right. But I mean, there's always, pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of the benefits of having your business in Hong Kong, what would those be?
If I can have a business, recycling site in Hong Kong, definitely will be. The industry right now is providing some incentive to us. For every tires we recycle, we will have like 10 Hong Kong dollar per one. So this is one of the incentive, and we really hope to have a small scale of production site in Hong Kong because right now Hong Kong there's no effective way to upcycle or recycle the wasted tires in the landfill. So we really want to do that.
We look forward to have more opportunities to see your products.
Of course. So, Rick, just curious, what type of organizations are actually using your product in Hong Kong right now?
So, luckily, after the competitions, we have lots of tractions. Right now, some of the government agencies are using us, and also some private property management company from private sector, and pest control company from overseas, and also some cleaning company in Hong Kong are using our product.
Okay, well, how was their feedback like?
So far, they are quite happy. I think we guarantee that we have a more than 90% of successful rate. So they are quite happy with the result recently.
In addition to commercial properties, the pallets are also being deployed at public housing estates. Has the use of your product by a government department helped promote it? And have any government departments approached your company for inquiries?
Yeah, definitely, yes. We are working with housing department right now. They are offering lots of the testing point and lots of sites for us to test our product. So one thing to note that is actually in Hong Kong, more than 30% of the population is living in public housing. So we have a large number of sample size and also different scenario to test our product and to improve our product. So this is really amazing that we have this opportunity to test it out in different area in Hong Kong, like wet market or some residential area.
That sounds like a positive feedback.
So now I want to ask Audrey, what are your thoughts on the demand in the Hong Kong market and what led to the decision to expand internationally? Is it because of the mice infestations or more serious overseas?
Oh yeah, definitely. In Hong Kong, we have a steady demand because the food and beverage industry, they have the highest demand comparatively because they have a very stable food source for the mice. And Hong Kong, we're such a dense and packed city. There's always little cracks and crevices that allows them to take root. So that, we have a steady demand from the different sectors of business that requires our services. And because Hong Kong, we're still quite a small city compared to the overseas market, and they definitely have a greater market and greater demand. And so also a serious, more severe mice infestation problem. So it was Rick's decision that we expand into the overseas market.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, from the chit-chat earlier, I recognize that this innovation product is very new on the market, and it's actually even new for foreign markets. So it's a great opportunity for you guys to head into that area. But what are some things that a company should pay attention to when they enter a foreign market? Because the business has only been set up for about 2 years now. Is it the right timing?
I think something that we might concern are the rules and regulations and any cultural customs, because these are specific to individual countries, and it might affect any preparation work or subsequent any paperwork we need to do. So that's something we need to keep in mind of. And it really depends on your field of work. Maybe for us, for our work, we have to take note maybe they have different species of mice and they have different behavior, the environment is different, and there are different factors that are at play, so that, we have different things that we have to consider. We just get used to the environment and know more about it, so that it helps us how we take our approach towards the market.
Okay, sounds good.
So, Rick, many startups in Hong Kong aspire to break into international markets, but they're faced with various challenges such as funding and risk calculation. So what advice would you give to these companies?
I think we need to be very careful right now because the global market is full of uncertainty. For example, like us, we are aiming the US market. After Donald Trump is up, we are more careful about their tax system because they are likely to increase the tax for the tariff. And so I really suggest those startups who are in early stage choose carefully where his market is and diversify their client and the market.
The society is ever-changing and we just always have to keep up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, then, in your opinion, what are the easiest mistakes that a startup could make during the beginning? And do you have an example that you can share as a cautionary tale?
Yeah, sure. As you know that we are all scientists, we always pitch our fancy idea, to our university, to investor. So we always package everything with the cool technology like AI, but we haven't talked to the end users like us. We have to talk to the cleaning ladies and pest control operator all the time to know their need, to know their problems. So based on their problem, we have to improve our product. So I think this is the most difficult things for technology startup to make more mistakes here.
So it has to be like a 360 approach, and each party in the whole part of the chain of logistics must be attained to and also must be communicated to know the needs and the parts will work well in every single section, right?
Exactly.
It's a great tip.
Well, just to add on that, what kind of support do startups need the most and how can the government assist them?
We definitely need more funding. I mean, it's an opportunity, like an endorsement from government. It doesn't really matter about the funding size. I mean, at the beginning stage, we received our first funding from my university, HKUST. It was a 10,000 Hong Kong dollar funding. It's not a big money, but it can support me to build my first prototype. And also we can ask for another funding in later on. So I think it's very important, like the government or the university, to give an opportunity to the young generation, the young startup, an endorsement.
So lastly, we've heard good news because your company will be collaborating with an American hardware company in the near future. So could you tell us a little bit about the partnership and also how will this collaboration contribute to your company's coming development?
Sure. Actually, 2 months ago, I visited to San Francisco and I talked to different people on the street. And we actually approached one of the hardware stores in the US. And we have an agreement. We are sending some of our product to their factory and their warehouse. So about maybe we can have like more than 1,000 of the package per month for the sales.
Thank you, Rick and Audrey, for telling us about your product and also sharing some tips on how a startup should go about expanding into foreign markets.
Before we take a break, Alice is going to take us to Chunwan to see how the community has combined creativity with the ideas of foreign artists to give both locals and tourists a different experience of Hong Kong.
Chunwan, what's your first thought? A never-ending skywalk adventure, ancient Hakka secrets hidden in the walled villages, or a foodie paradise bursting with new taste? This place is a total mashup of old and new, a perfect Hong Kong experience. The Hong Kong Tourism Commission's Creative Tourism Project, DDHK, uses design to highlight Hong Kong's authentic culture. From now until February 14th, a new initiative will lead travelers on unique explorations of Chunwan and Chateau Kok, featuring specially commissioned creative installations by renowned artists. Hello, Xavier. I know that this year's DDHK has creative installations all over Chunwan. So can you tell us where are these locations?
We have 4 creative installations in Chunwan, at Sai Lau Kok Garden, at Chunwan Park, at Sam Tung Ok Museum, at Sing Mun Country Park. When we discussed it with the creative units during the design process, we aimed to integrate the creative elements with the local culture, heritage, and natural offerings through placemaking. By blending the creative installation in selected locations to highlight the features of Chunwan where history meets creativity, intangible cultural heritage mixed with chic lifestyle, and vibrant cityscape is immersed in natural scenery, our goal is to attract more people to come and explore Chunwan.
This inflatable fountain, titled Cupid's Koi Garden, was designed by the Australian creative teen Ines. Its bright patterns, interactive playful sprays, and the rich soundscapes bring joy to both adults and children. Hello, Nimrod. We are sitting in front of your beautiful installation and it's instantly cheerful. So can you tell us more about this work and what's the inspiration?
This is Cupid's Koi Garden. It's a fountain, but also an inflatable work. In the middle sits a Cupid, which is designed to spread love and joy. And around him are all these cheeky fish, which squirt water out of their spouts. And all these pieces are connected together. They're inflatable, but they have a lot of computers inside each one, and they're all sensing the people walking by. And so they're able to interact and squirt water or play a sound or light up as people interact with the work. I love this urban environment with the harbour. I like the contrast between this work that brings fish out of the harbour and onto the pathway here, and people can enjoy the fish walking around and playing with water. I think it really connects to the space.
Danny, an artist from the United States whose uniquely styled animations have garnered tens of thousands of views online, is bringing his animated characters to Chunwan. Hello, Danny. Wow, we're here in this park and your work is I'm feeling this energy here, so lively and enthusiastic. So can you tell us more about your work and the characters?
We have many different parts of my characters celebrating the different parts of Chunwan. We have, the pineapple bun. We have my character mixing a big pot of hot pot. We have, all the Speches here and his friends celebrating the skyline. The first structure, we have Spech in the butterfly park, riding, the big old butterfly, going about his adventure, riding it like a dragon, which is pretty cool. We have Spech in this structure, in the traditional Hakka garment, which is a first in my universe, which we have the giant Spech on top of him, overlooking, making sure the vibes are good. Beautiful celebration of the traditional garment here. This one is just celebrating coffee shop culture, which is, a unifying, universal experience. One big, as a whole, celebration of Chunwan. My goal, not only bring people all around the world to Hong Kong to discover Chunwan, but also, and especially Hong Kong locals, give them a reason to come, here in their own city and explore Chunwan.
The Lunar New Year is less than 4 weeks away. When the time comes, Chinese communities in different parts of the world will be celebrating this joyous occasion. In Hong Kong, many indigenous villagers still observe traditional practices, such as having a big bowl feast on the second day of the Lunar New Year. Rico, do you know why the New Year's Day meal isn't eaten on the first day of the Lunar New Year?
Well, you found the right person to ask, Erica. It's because legend has it that the gods need to rest on Lunar New Year's Eve and New Year's Day before resuming their duties on the second day of the Lunar New Year. In ancient times, people would cleanse their body by fasting all day to welcome the new year and thank the gods. As it's considered taboo to kill animals on the first day of the year, the feasting doesn't take place until the second day.
Wow, I'm impressed. It seems that you're very knowledgeable about traditional Chinese customs. As one of the 4 major civilizations in the world, the Chinese civilization is not only ancient and profound, but also stands as the world's longest continuous civilization. Let's learn more about its origins through an exhibition presented by the Hong Kong Palace Museum.
Why do the Chinese people call themselves 中国人, the citizens of the Middle Kingdom? And why are they the descendants of the dragon? If you have this question in your mind, please visit Hong Kong Palace Museum and explore what Chinese people were like 5,000 years ago. Chinese civilization remains the only ancient civilization in the world that has continuously developed up to the present day. Its origins are marked by diversity, with different regions and cultures interacting and eventually merging into a cohesive whole, forming a remarkable cultural continent evincing diversity in unity.
Chinese civilization emerged about 5,800 years ago from diverse origins. It then went through formative and developmental stages subsequently. And we have arranged the objects from the 9 major archaeological sites to reflect these 3 different stages of developments of the Chinese civilization. We have tried and create an immersive experience to transport our visitors to the archaeological sites and to feel the excitement of discovery.
Dr. Raphael Wong is the creator of this exhibition. He is responsible for the exhibitions on ancient Chinese ceramics and paintings at Hong Kong Palace Museum.
So these 3 objects on display represent the 3 different stages of Chinese civilization. The Great Dragon at the center represents the beginning stage of Chinese civilization. And at the time, productive forces developed and social stratifications and divisions also emerged. The Great Dragon is also one of the earliest representations of a Chinese dragon. And the jade chong tips on the left represent the formative stage of Chinese civilization when kingships and regional states emerged. The bronze ritual vessels on the right represent the developmental stage of Chinese civilization when the first dynasty, the Xia dynasty, emerged. And it marks the beginnings of the Chinese Bronze Age and also reflect the growing importance of feasting in ancient China.
The origins of Chinese civilization highlights national archaeological discovery of the past 2 decades in China, featuring nearly 110 rare archaeological finds from 14 museums and archaeological institutions. They include 16 Grade 1 national treasures that are displayed in Hong Kong for the first time.
It was indeed a challenge to put together so many objects from different regions, and I still remember the long flight and drive to get to one of the archaeological sites, but it was all worth it, we are very grateful to our colleagues in the mainland and Hong Kong, and they have been extremely supportive.
Storm Riders is most definitely a collective memory among fans of Hong Kong comics. Whether it's the respective stories of 2 protagonists or the martial arts styles and weapons that are featured, they've all made a lasting impression on many people.
The comic has even been adapted into novels, films, a radio drama, a television series, and more. To commemorate its 35th anniversary, Hong Kong Dance Company has once again joined hands with the work's creator, renowned comic artist Ma Wing-shing, to bring the martial arts dance drama Storm Clouds back to the stage.
Tonight, we've invited Maggie Chang and Tong Chi-man, Executive Director and Senior Dancer, the Hong Kong Dance Company, to tell us more about the production's 3rd run as well as its peripheral activities. Welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Maggie, I have the first question for you. Why has Hong Kong Dance Company decided to present Storm Clouds for the 3rd time?
Right. So Storm Clouds is actually one of the most iconic and successful production of Hong Kong dance history. And throughout the years, we have been asking so many times by fans and audience, when are we going to bring back this amazing production? So I think the question is not about why we are bringing it back, but when would be the good time to do this? In 2014 and 16, for the first 2 runs, we already attracted over 10,000 audience and won 3 big dance awards.
Wow.
When we come to the good time, which is this year, 35th anniversary of the Storm Riders, we actually discussed with Mr. Ma Wing-shing, who generously offered this very important cultural IP to recreate something new. We started this project and having this idea to do this again about 1 year ago. And we said this time we're going to do something different. We want to enhance the use of technology and to bring a refreshed perspective to the whole production. So this important cultural IP really deserves a chance to be seen to the new generations.
For sure. So with the dance drama making its return after nearly a decade, what new elements have been added to the show to elevate the viewing experience?
So as a performing arts group, we always want to respect and retain what is successful and traditional in the drama, but we also want to take a fresh perspective into the whole interpretation. So what is new? The first thing is the cast is new. So sitting next to me, our senior dancer, Tong Chi-man, he will play one of the role, Nifeng, and also another senior dancer, Wang Haiyun, will also play Bo Ging-wan. And the plot is new because we are going to do this in February 14 to 16 Valentine's weekend in CG Center. So a new scenarios of a romantic scene will be added just to add a little sweetness to the show. And Mr. Ma Wing-shing, who hasn't actually recreated anything new for many, many years. And for this particular show, he will present some newly drawn hand sketches of the comic and present it in the show. So fans of Storm Riders will be very excited about it. And also the use of technology, the lighting, and also refresh music score will also complement the whole stage experience.
Now, the large pool of water at the front of a stage is an especially memorable part of the show. But this time, it's actually performed at a different venue, Chui Center. So what's different and unique about the stage design this time around?
Right. So having water appear on stage is never easy because you have a lot of technical things to actually take care of. And we start talking to the technical team of CG Center 6 months ahead of time to make sure how the pool is being set up. And the stage is different versus Hong Kong Cultural Center, which is less wide, but still it will be a 50 meters wide water pool. And two protagonists will going to battle and dance on the water. And there will be water splashing onto the face of the audience as well. So we'll prepare some raincoat for the audience who sit at the front 3 row. So get ready to get wet.
I know the production combines dance, drama, and martial arts. So Chi-Man, how did you balance all these elements and what were the biggest challenges?
As you mentioned, this production is a dance drama. Dance drama is an art form. Like we are just telling the stories through the dancer's body and use our movement only. So without any speech and words. So we need to tell the story to the audience. I think daily training is really important for us. Practicing each element is to ensure me to confidence enough on stage to my performance.
Well, I'm sure this is a really exciting role for you. But let me ask you a bit more. So what kind of preparations did you make to take on the role of Lip Fong?
I need to study the original comics. I need to watch the film tons of times. But I think the most important thing is I need to communicate with the choreographers because I need to know what they are going to bring the props from the original comics to the dance drama. So the communication with me is really important that let me know more and understanding why they choose this. And then I will perform my own version of Lip Fong on stage.
Well, speaking of that, you know, as a performer, carrying out such iconic role, did you purposely have to, you know, when you were doing research or study, or did you have to find your own unique style? Did you want it to be, you know, different than the ones in the past? Like, how did you struggle with your own mentality to perform your unique styles?
First moment I received these characters, I know that, how can I act like Lip Fong? But for now, for me, I want to become Lip Fong more than act like Lip Fong because after many years of dance training, I'm in Chinese dance major. So for me, something inside my body is unique. So I think my dance, my movement, and my body, how can I study the original comics, films, and then become my own version? That is the really difficult for me, but I'm going on it.
I understand that ahead of the actual opening of Storm Clouds in February, there will be some peripheral activities taking place this month. So Maggie, could you tell us more about those?
I'm thrilled to tell. So when we actually talk to Mr. Mao Wing-sheng, we want to push some boundaries. And how do we actually transform this comic into dance and now into technology? It actually becomes the biggest and funnest part of the whole creation. And thanks to the Hong Kong government, who actually offer us the arts technology funding pilot scheme. With the funding, we can actually expand our imagination. So from 10th to 12th January, we will actually partner with a leading arts technology group and also various artists to create a huge immersive experience in the Hong Kong Cultural Center Piazza. So it will be an outdoor space. It will be a preview to the Storm Clouds performance. And also it's free of charge for attracting audience and also tourists to actually come and experience this important cultural IP and this performance. We will actually build an installation, huge installation with a time travel tunnel LED wall built inside it. So if you were an audience, if you step inside the tunnel, you experience 5 different scenarios of storm clouds and with real-time stage tracking emotions so that when you actually flip your hands or when you step onto the floor, it will trigger some effects and illustration as if you are inside the scenarios of storm clouds. And then at nighttime, against the backdrop of the beautiful Victoria Harbour, we will stage 2 shows each night, featuring around 40 minutes of a snippet excerpt of the dance performance. So audience can actually enjoy against the Victoria Harbour background with a stage design that is so unique. This time we built a round-shaped stage with 8 meters by 8 meters circular catwalk built upon it, bringing together a more immersive experience of the show between performers and also the audience.
So Chui-man, what difficulties do outdoor performances like this pose to dancers?
This time is not the first time I performing outdoor, but this time is the most huge and biggest stage for me. The only concern may be the weather, maybe the uncontrollable wind.
That's okay. He's lip phone, right? He can control it. So it's not a problem for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Magic on stage.
Yeah, so in addition to follow up on that with the performances, I know there are also a number of exhibitions. So one of them is the interactive time travel experience that you've mentioned, for which Ma Wingxing has especially created new hand-drawn work. So what kind of visitor experience are you hoping to deliver with this exhibition?
I actually explained a bit when I talk about the installation, but the time-traveling tunnel is really the newest and the most exciting part of the whole creation because Mr. Ma will be involved and there will be hand-drawn work unseen. And the 270-degree LED tunnel is going to really transport the audience from a real reality space into a transformative space, into inside the martial arts scenarios of the comic. And if you are thinking of, as an audience, if you are sitting inside a theater, everything is staged for you, right? When you becomes an immersive experience and installation, you can become Li Feng and Bo Gingwen yourself. And this is, I think, is a very whole new experience for audience because you can become that character.
Storm Riders is a work that resonates with multiple generations. And I understand that local students were invited to participate in one of the peripheral activities with the hope of inspiring the future artists of Hong Kong. So could you elaborate a little bit more on this?
When we talk about bringing back this production, one of the very meaningful elements is how to engage the young audience. As you know, this creation was 35 years ago. Some of the young generations who are in their 20s might not even heard of what Storm Clouds or Storm Raider is. So this time, we work with the Hang Seng universities. We actually trained a group of students to become our exhibition docent. They can introduce the installation to the audience and also tourists who are passing by. So this is one. And secondly, we work with the Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts students. This team of students, they will co-create a mural art wall, which is going to fit into the installation tunnel exterior wall. And how we train them and guide them, apart from giving them inspiration, we actually invite Mr. Ma Wingxing to really appear in the classroom to actually give them some inspiration on how to create something new from his own work. So it's a cross-generational dialogue that we anticipate, and we're really looking forward to seeing the work of the students, putting side by side along with Mr. Ma's work.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the synergy would be great, and also just the fact that, you know, to have this experience for the students, it would be so valuable.
I'm sure this production also owes much of its success to brand promotion. So what lessons did you and your team learn through the marketing process?
The branding, it's also fascinating because the whole exercise of recreating the excitement around this comic and dance drama requires not only just us and also the artists. If you look into what the Hong Kong government has recently announced, the blueprint for the art and culture and also creative industry, we are actually encouraged and motivated to work with cross-industrial partners to bring about a good show together. And we are going to create some interesting things in the food outlet and also tying with food to recreate the comic experience together. We believe this is how the whole art and culture ecology can thrive with the support of commercial partners.
Definitely. Please stay tuned. So thank you again for Maggie and Tong Chi Man for coming in to chat with us tonight. All the best to the storm clouds for the third time in February, as well as all peripheral activities that will take place this month.
Continuing on the subject of art, we're now going to Tycoon to appreciate the works of a Chinese visual artist who creates immersive video installations that bend the boundaries of fiction and reality to address cultural and identity issues.
你住在一个地方，然后你肯定对周遭的环境啊，就是社会环境，然后有很强的感知能力吧。我希望观众然后可以坐在里边，或者是像那种就是做礼拜一样的感觉。
只有被显示好才能够清晰地面对这片土地。
Born in 1987 in Yunyang, Chongqing, Tao Hui graduated from the oil painting department of Sichuan Fine Arts Institute in 2010 and now lives and works in Beijing. For over a decade, he has created a series of highly influential artworks, drawing extensively on personal memory, visual experience, and popular cultural imagery. He's recognized internationally for films and video installations that combine touching narratives with poetic images.
我不想你这么痛苦。
可是我喜欢我的痛苦。
你的痛苦只是你的枷锁。
你知道我在期待寒冷，期待凛冽，这些都会让我更加的兴奋。
这个世界已经如此残酷了。
我热爱残酷。
在我的心目中，他更像是一个观众，然后就是观众看这个屏幕也有那个评论嘛，说他就是讲话的时候，他有点像在评论这个片子。
As part of Tycoon Contemporary's new breakthrough series, In the Land Beyond Living is the artist's first institutional solo exhibition in Hong Kong. Alongside multiple new commissions of video installations and sculptures, the showcase includes the Asian premiere of Hardworking.
那主播他可以自由的，然后游走于现实世界和虚拟世界，他可以进入到屏幕里或者从屏幕里出来。 然后其实有点像我们观看那些短视频的方式，就是有的时候你看久了，你会觉得很辛苦，就觉得眼睛很累。但是有的时候你会忘记了，就是那种就是现实感，你不知道你是在屏幕里还是屏幕外。那个瘫软的屏幕的背后有一个融化的雕像，那个我觉得就很像当代我们就是很多就是互联网使用者的。 就是一个映射吧，就是看起来就是已经辛苦的像化掉了一样，但是你还就是辛苦的支撑着某一个东西。
Tao Hui is the finalist of the first edition of SIG Prize, so we actually have been observing him for a longer while. He has a very special observation within our daily life, and also how the feeling unfolds within the development of society, and how this is very hard to describe and how to release feelings. He has a very special touch, artistic lens to translate those feelings into artworks.
Curator Jill Angel Chun believes that the exhibition has opened up new angles from which to contemplate contemporary society in China and the human condition at large. With a great variety of artistic elements, In the Land Beyond Living takes us from north to south, the inland to the coast, the urban to the rural, the industrial to the natural.
So we want to put this title as In the Land Beyond Living because this land is actually beyond living. We initially wanted to portray this in-between state, how we struggle within, how we keep on push and pulling these different factors about whether we want to stay put, whether we want to move forward, or whether we want to return.
Chicken feet grabbing money, a petrified python coiled around a toilet, a woman with a sickle in her head. All these absurdities and fantasies can be found in Tao Hui's uncanny universe. In the Land Beyond Living is on display at Taikun's JC Contemporary from now until February 2nd, 2025.
Breakthrough is like we select the most remarkable, important young artists, middle career artists in our region. We want to present them to the audience in Hong Kong. That's also generate more in-depth understanding for their creation.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's program, which covered diverse topics ranging from recycling and creative tourism to ancient Chinese civilization and dance.
All the exhibitions that we introduced tonight are still ongoing, so be sure to look up the relevant information online if you're interested, and also share it with your family and friends. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll see you next week. Good night.
you